of three.
This is a best of three. Every single match is a best of three, even the grand finals.
Yep.
Grand finals, of course, if you are from the upper bracket, you only have to win one best of three. The team from the lower bracket has to win two best of threes.
I wonder if this is the final Kings of the Storm. This is the very last.
Yeah, you'll learn the title. I mean, as far as we have planned at this point, yeah. Kings very likely will be retired after this with Matthew, as he is too chilly for us.
Steve.
Yeah, see you, Steve.
As you guys so affectionately know him as. The Oric band out once more.
There's the Zeratul. There it is.
So we'll put you in the same exact position.
First pick Zagara.
Draft changes.
I actually would like to see Zagara before Jaina. Actually, you think about giving up double mage. It's actually that's hard to do. They might even. Would you go Kel'Thas or Jaina? Jaina's got the stronger early game, but their Kel'Thas play has been quite scary. I'm almost surprised they didn't ban. Yeah, they do go Kel'Thas.
What this comes down to is no team has shown Temple Storm yet that they have a strong enough early game to scare them away from taking Kel'Thas. By putting that pressure. There's no team that has been able to do that.
True. All right, well, at this point, they will grab Jaina. Zagara would be the fifth, as we do tend to see. There she is.
Okay, waiting for this second and third pick. Temple Storm.
Yeah, one moment, guys, trying to figure out the mic situation. Try again.
Jake Seaver.
I don't know if you're actually on.
Hello?
Did you mess with the cable?
Not to my knowledge.
Could make a terrible sound if you touch it.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Let us do technical things very quick, guys. Audio is going to go up for just a moment. Stay with us. And after all those horrible sounds, which we probably slayed,
Much apologies. I don't know if I'm back or
your
not.
mic's back, yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, getting an update on the bands. And very early in Ibarak, now we mentioned this earlier today, Temple Storm is the one and only team actually prioritizing him. But he has a very strong power here on this battleground, and that will likely be Zuna at the driver's seat.
So with the Kel'Thas, the Uther and Abrak, they're going to be shooting for that late game. I'm so curious to see if they actually pick Gazlo, given the opportunity to do so. Do they build around that? Would be a lot of push potential, a lot of zone control.
Fala. They're just trying to deny ranged assassins. All they have is Kel'Thas right now. And in terms of the other damage that will be left in this game, they're just going to try to monopolize ranged assassins. If I was Temple Storm, I'd probably been a support here.
Yeah, just because I want to see Gazlo. They do already have their support selected, so they're pigeonholing complexity into taking Rhaegar, or if they, for some reason, feel comfortable enough to go Lili. Haven't seen a whole lot of success with that. Especially considering Uther, considering the Anubarak. A lot of things to dodge.
Yeah. All right. A lot of things to dodge indeed. Seems like the sound is fixed. No Rhaegar is the status yet, but complexity will grab him. I don't think it's going to be a Lili game. Pretty sure Rhaegar is a guaranteed pickup here. They'll probably grab him right now. But at the same time, it seemed like they're trying to get this DPS kind of denial. Just Kel'Thas thus far. Complexity could try to grab one of the other, ranged assassins in this scenario, as they are largely prioritized. Very rarely do we see melee assassins other than Zeratul on this battleground. In the current meta, at least.
Gaslow. Just gotta keep whispering it. Maybe Complexity will hear the cries of the people. They want to see it.
I would be all for it.
If they are actually legitimately planning on running this, they're gonna wait until afterwards.
Miranda?
So it's not gonna be the case. We're gonna have a support for the last pick.
I have Miranda. That's very strong. This is actually a very strong composition thus far, regardless.
Yeah, this is the classic, the Jaina, the Murid, and Tyrande. Temple Storm very likely to go for that double warrior and pick up an additional damage. What is still available for damage? Is this a Tychus game? Who we missed? We're missing somebody. Who is it that we're missing damage wise?
Sylvanas?
Yeah, you're right, Sylvanas. I think that they would take Sylvanas over.
I kind of prefer Tychus. I like the double warrior. They're two very in-your-face damage-dealing warriors. And they're just going to say, you know what? We've got KOTS. It's enough damage. Late game, level 20, with a double hat on Tyrael and a Nubarak, that'll be more than enough damage output. But they're playing for the late game. Rhaegar will round out the composition of Complexity. Very different style game.
Do we have updates on the lower bracket matches?
Let's get it.
I don't know if we can
Find out.
real quickly look, because I know those are happening simultaneous to this winner's finals. Take a look real quick.
Okay, just looking on in.
Not quite. All right.
Yeah. Zevran versus Bad Plus Team Blazers COG happening as we speak here during this. They are happening.
All right, so we're getting word they are those series are still going on right now. I think it's game 3 for COG and who's the team they're up against? It's Zevran. No, not quite.
Let Matthew tell us.
Blaze. Yeah. Sir Matthew, the Sea of Steve.
What's going on, Matthew?
Hello, friends. So last time I had the mic, it was super loud when I put it into my mouth.
I've adjusted it. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, we're in game 3 for COG versus Zevran, and we are in game 2 for Bad Blood versus Leoric. And yeah, that's where they're at. They started game 3 about 10 minutes ago, so we should be getting the results on that in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I believe game 2 just started about 5 minutes ago, so 10 to 15 on that. So we'll have a game coming up pretty much right after this set. Shouldn't be too much downtime.
Very exciting.
Excelente! We're going to game number 2 here in the upper bracket finals. We've got on the left side Complexity with Hans on Tyrande, Blinks played by Rhaegar, Trummel going to be on Jaina, Jaximus playing Zagara this time, and Caterpillar rounding up the team on Muradin.
On the right side of the map for Temple Storm, once more looking to get a quick 2-0 entry into the grand finals. Arthlon's going to be on the Abathur Dreadnought on Uther. Zuna will be playing Tyrael, Soldier on the Anubarak, and finally KOTS will be played by KO.
Massive shout-outs to Sea of Steve, not only for running this tournament series. He's by far the best tournament admin I've ever worked with, and I've worked in esports since 2006. So that's a big shout-out. And secondly, he's going to be a big Blizzard board. He's done a lot of community building for the game in terms of Reddit and just competitive heroes, organizing Skype groups, just building the scene in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Let's be kudos to him. Couldn't have happened without him. What a guy.
Greetings, mortal.
Okay. A lot of globe-related talents picked up. 4 out of the 5. Do have the 2 Regen Masters, 1 Conjurer's Pursuit, and the Mana Addict. There we go. Everything else, about what we'd expect to see. Perfect Storm, not too threatened by the auto attacks of the heroes on Temple Storm.
Yeah, pretty standard pickups. I do like the double Regen Master, though, for the Warriors. Just a lot of extra sustain. When you have Uther, he doesn't have the same kind of healing as someone like Rhaegar or Malfurion to keep multiple targets alive for a long period of time. No crazy aggressive rotations quite yet, just going to wait for those temples to spawn, and they will likely just be split up by the 2 teams. They always do spawn here at the 1 minute 30-second marker. They do become available.
No, but I would expect to see that in the near future. I think that Murid and Jaina is an underrated Combination of heroes to roam around. You pair that up with Tyrande. Gets quite scary. Might even see something like that right here. If we see the Lunar Flare follow-up, wasn't quite there. They might wait for the next rotation of Stormbolt.
So it's just trying to deny the capture for as long as possible. And even almost taking it over for a brief moment here, because all this while we have Uther played by Dreadnought here controlling the top lane. They do have that bit of an advantage when you consider that there is Abathur. Arthlon did take a large amount of damage, but Anubarak does end up falling here in the middle lane. Nicely done by Trummel, Hans, and Gather.
Yep, that is the Stormbolt plus the Lunar Flare, Hunter's Mark, all of that together. Doing enough to stun it out, and look at this display. Just what we were talking about, the strong potential for the rotation. So Complexity really changing their style up. We hadn't seen too much of that over the last 3 games we've watched from them. This is a big change, and I like it. It's something that you know you have to do. Didn't need to change the formula against Zevran. It was able to work out. They just played a very safe and responsive game to what Zevran was throwing at them. But considering how well Tempo Storm was playing in the last game, yeah, you got to change something up.
Jackson is really pushing the Abathur back. He's actually throwing roaches and hydras down there constantly, making this Abathur far less safe. The hat does come here onto Zuna to really give that additional damage, but he has to constantly be a bit passive, even in the back line. And it's going to be Tyrael falling in a battle, going to explode, doing a bit of damage to Hans and Cattle. They did control the entire top lane, but the nice Lunar Flare going down Hunter's Mark. Dreadnought's going to end up falling 4-0 in favor of Complexity. An incredibly strong start.
Yes, that will get them the remaining shots of this temple. Not the hugest. Well, actually, no, I thought it was only a half level. That's a 1.5 level, sir.
That's a lot. That's a big experience lead. And they're denying the safe Abathur poke. That's the power of Zagara. I mean, props to Jackson as being incredibly aggressive, knowing that just an Abathur that has, you know, kind of split focus on his allies and his lane, you can actually abuse that with this hero. It's one of the only heroes that can do that.
And this is why we see Zeratul is such a contested hero on the bottom lane. Getting a little bit of pressure from Zuna in the bottom lane shouldn't be enough. I would still think that Zagara handily wins that 1v1.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Muradin.
So upset.
Yeah,
it was Muradin.
Gosh. Yeah, he died in Warcraft 3, and then Blizzard's like, nah, he never died, guys. He's okay.
No, that's Falstead.
No, Falstead, that's actually a different story. Muradin did die in Warcraft 3, though. With Arthas when they went up.
All right, I'll leave you the lore. I don't know why I'm contesting you on that at all. Okay, we do have the mule picked up.
Dwarves and killer dwarves, and not remember it.
Hey man, that's not my call to make. Not at all.
Oh my goodness, Zuna with the steal here. Cattle try to get aggressive. Gravity Lapse is actually whiffed, but they do manage to deny the steal attempted here by Complexity. That's a nice little play made by them, stalling out a bit of pressure that would have been present here in the bottom lane. Level 7 talents now being achieved. We do see Mule on both teams.
Yeah, I was expecting to see Abathur grab that Mule. The Cleanse is grabbed. Battle momentum. Half Beetle build. A lot of sustain with the Leeching Beetle.
Okay, does Blinks notice. He sees the Locust. Arthalon gonna slap him a few. Oh, that will be a dead Arthalon. Bit of a mistake there. There he goes. Blinks gonna be taking up that takedown. And
all of a sudden, in this game too, we're seeing a lot of
mistakes.
Mistakes that are just not something you would expect to see out of Tempo Storm. Oh, when was the last time you saw
Arthalon
whomever playing? Yeah, usually it's
like
Arthalon,
in a
but
situation like this, he stopped the Locust. I'm like, oh, it's because he's gonna leave, and then he did the symbiote once again. It's just like, okay. Well,
yeah,
you actually will die now.
That's very rare though. Their Abathur play is usually so consistently on point.
Well, we're going to see the trade of the forts. Bottom temple being held here by Complexity. They're pushing in just a bit, but then they realize they've done enough damage. So they're going to try to capitalize. Maw thrown out, level 10 to 8. Strong advantage. Lunar Flare connecting. Hunter's Mark will eliminate Zuna. Nice takedown. That can allow them to pressure now the middle lane. Bottom fork going to fall. Yes, Tempo did get the top one, but they're still well behind 2-level disadvantage.
Blink's catching the tail end of this rotation, and Complexity well aware that there is a threat of this on its way.
Arthalon changing strats. Lunar Flare dodge. Nice burr charge by Soldier, getting out of harm's way. And now that they've gone back to base, topped off those mana pools, they're ready for battle. Even dropping a Mule in the middle lane just to heal up that to max power. Bottom, not even, it's untouched at this point in time.
2-level lead, just about. Well, they've brought it back a bit. But still, is this the classic tempo storm? Falling behind early game and then finding their footing late game?
I don't know why they look shaky this game.
They do.
In a lot of ways, they just don't look like the same team. They look so on point in game 1, maybe even overconfident because of this beautiful Lunar Flare follow-up there going on to Dreadnought, but the heals will be enough for him to sustain through this. Level 10 has just been reached. Judgment, Divine Shield, there's the Judgment.
Web Blast too, keep an eye out for it.
Going in, looking for it. There's a Web Blast that you mentioned, and they're setting up the pressure. Beautiful placement for that Starfall, but is it enough? Hans lures Lunar Flare out. Hunter's Mark trying to keep Arthur at bay, but that's just a clone. Hans does manage to get away. The heal's going up from Rhaegar. It's Dreadnought that's incredibly low in the backline.
Oh, Trouble. Oh, Caterpillar gets the double Storm Bolt. That's going to do a lot to keep Trumbull in the safe area for the rest of his team. They are rotating around. The heals on point. Zuna has the overextended. Doesn't have a fort to retreat to. And all of a sudden, that was a great save. That was a
low member
fantastic
Stormbolt
save.
is juked.
Good dodge.
Well done by Zuna. But I gotta hand it to him. There was a very strong initiation and complexity. I mean, with that level lead, they took the fight. They backed up. They were able to stay alive. Incredibly close calls. But that level advantage provided enough for them to really just have a clean team fight with no trades.
Hey, what was the battleground that Blaze won on? It was Sky Temple, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was Sky Temple. So all of a sudden, Temple Storm, I'd say this is starting to turn into a map where they don't seem to feel that super confident on.
Possibly.
And considering how often it is played in this meta, just something to point out.
Yeah, no, that's a great piece of information. I love the stats. You can actually type exclamation point stats in the chat here. D the Hunter, a very proactive community member, does a lot of stat tracking for a lot of events. He did Town Hall, now he's doing King, so that's live stats he's been doing throughout the event. Massive shout out to you, sir.
Bottom Temple being occupied by Complexity that should net them the top fort. Extend to that experience advantage, which is sitting at about a level and a half right now. They have the talent tier advantage. The Judgment thrown down at the Trumbull. The stun follow-up. He looks like he's always going to be able to get out in a two-person maw from Jackson. What is the follow-up? We see the Roach Pods drop. Divine Shield is thrown out to keep Arthalon. Oh, it seems to be KO alive on the kill class.
Oh, the Blizzard hitting 3 targets. Stormbolt goes out. That's the clone immediately getting evaporated in this point in time. And the peel was their Complexity now chasing Zuna, retreating into enemy territory. Are they interested in the chase? He's going to try to mount up here, but they have found him. Aldruin's might be the ticket out. Not today.
Okay, and we're seeing the occupation of this middle temple. The remaining shots go the way of Complexity. They are starting to rotate down, given the advantage they have to take this bottom temple, and it has been all Complexity this game. 7 takedowns to 0. Strong showing.
Yeah,
very strong showing.
Very strong showing, but tempo, a lot of their composition is late game. That's something we have to remember. If Complexity doesn't get a ton of damage done, well, things will add up. KOTS 16, that's one story, but the other story is level 20 Abathur. The double hat on those warriors is going to provide such a strong presence in these team fights.
Not just any warriors, but 2 aggressive warriors.
Yeah.
They're both bruiser style. They're going to be jumping in. And if the Hive Mind is timed well, and if the Burrow Charge follows the Judgment in, you won't break the link between the 2 Hive Minds, and that can really do a lot for sustain if we see the Soma Transference at 13, and also the damage output. So you're right in bringing that up. And 16 is a nice stepping stone for them. KOTS gets that power spike, and it should do a lot to carry them over. However, this battleground has a time limit on it.
It does.
If the temples continue to go the way of Complexity,
they
just picked up this boss moving forward.
Mule can only do so much. And we can see this tower is already low. They have this boss. It's really going to pressure this back wall. The wall should end up falling because they're escorting with it. Phoenix is thrown down early, trying to buy some time. One tower down, the other one going to fall very quickly. This is permanent structural presence in the back line with all 3 forts already down.
They're going to back up for the time being. They're going to take the offensive giant camp.
Yeah, I like these plays. I mean, Complexity, they're doing everything right. Bruisers in the top, Trumbull there to respond. Now they're going to rotate up to collect a bruiser of their own to push up that top lane, and it's going to be level 14 to 16 very soon.
For a brief moment, a 3-level lead.
Yeah.
Tempo Storm. Even games where they fall behind early and catch up later,
they're never down this far.
3 levels. It's very significant. And you know, where is that point where they catch up? It's now that we should be seeing it. We're not seeing signs of it. This is usually the point in time where they're safely split up across the map. As weird as that sounds, but they somehow find the ways to do that. They're starting to do it a little bit, but We're also seeing sort of the matched soak from Complexity.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're playing it right, and they have no reason to not be aggressive here. Both mutas just poking away at Soldier, actually forcing the Burrow charge out. They will switch their focus to that Beetle and pretty much spend the rest of their life just being happy together as a couple.
Oh.
And that's going to be a split on these two temples. So we've seen some very passive positioning on Arthlon ever since he got taken out. Staying in the back line, he knows that he will be hunted if ever, you know, an option. And they're just going to leave Blinks down here while the rest of the team
seems like so far.
I love this play.
They're going for the keep.
Yeah, they want that bottom keep. Cattle just showing himself here in the mid lane. The rest of the team postured right behind. Judgment goes in, but a beautiful dwarf toss.
Wait, no. Yeah, the dwarf toss is what got him out at the last second. I looked over and there's no cleanse nearby.
Yep.
We have Rhaegar in the bottom lane.
Good
dodge, though.
They can look for a big disengage with a Maw if they need it, but they're going to try to get away without it. Rhaegar has rotated up. Some of the ammunition was spent here. You can see about a quarter of the ammo picked up, and that's going to be both Judgment and the clone on Abathur spent here on the side of Tempo Storm.
Phoenix momentarily.
Yeah,
that'll be back up just a little bit. Continuing to take the shots in the bottom temple, but I thought at this point Tempo Storm would have looked to try to occupy top. They're not seeing
They
it.
need 16. They're playing, honestly, incredibly passive. Afraid is probably the next way to put it.
Could look at it that way. Watchtower control going back to Complexity.
Cattle just having that presence in the top lane to provide a bit of a threat. Keep does end up falling. Mule did its best, not enough today. The final shots going off. Rhaegar can now tap them well, make his way to the top lane. Once they do so, they will fight, but Tempo will have ample time to gather level 16.
Yes. That is when the scary flame strikes come in.
Spooky, scary.
Okay.
Strikes. All right. Blood for blood, blood for blood. The double warriors will have the additional sustain and damage through that.
By the time they get up there, there's no room to contest.
Yeah,
the remaining shots are about to go the way of Complexity. Not really a whole lot for Tempo Storm to force a fight. Jaina just took out our Abathur over on the...
Judgment, Web Blast. They're going straight for Jaximus, but is the damage there? Rhaegar does get out of the Web Blast. Ancestral to keep him alive. Maw bought so much time from them. Beautiful plays. Everyone is incredibly low at just about half health of those flame strikes. They're just doing devastating damage, but Dreadnought forced to use Divine Shield on himself. Ice Block in a great position here, but Tyrael does end up going down. Zuna the first one to fall in this battle, and we also see that Abathur was picked off as well.
Yep, that was the fight started off just exactly with that. We saw that Jaina was over by this top keep, took out Abathur's a little bit forward position, a nice talent or traded Gravity Lapse to secure the remaining members of Tempo Storm to back up safely. But this is a consistently strong team fight that we've seen from Complexity. 10 takedowns to 0. 2 keeps remain, and on a battleground where structures are everything,
It's
only a matter of time, it feels like.
Complexity, they still have a fort. They have a mule. This fort hasn't been touched. They can drop the mule here to heal up that tower. They're going back to base. It's 10 kills to 0. They're making a statement right now. They can go toe-to-toe with the best.
Taking Giants, probably going to try to contest. No, I don't think. I disagree with that.
The boss would. That's the
not even boss.
Right
just
now.
Try to get to 20. And they're so close, taking the risk at this point when they could have a strong advantage in just a few minutes.
2 point,
not even.
Yeah, more than a 2-level lead, nearly a 3-level lead at this point in time.
Keeping tabs on it. Trummel just over the wall. That's a lot of potential damage output.
Just a single temple here, so that means Tempo Storm is going to be put in a scenario where they have to fight over level 20 against level 20 talents, or just give it up.
Off cooldown Caterpillar occupying the space, contesting Zuna.
There's the Judgment going into the back line, but it's just on Zagara. The heals are there. They do successfully steal the Giants, and Soldier's forced to, burrow charge out of here, but so much damage in the back line.
Falls. That is a big trigger point for Complexity to move forward. Soldier under a lot of pressure. Trummel with the Water Elemental also putting a lot of hurt on, and they were able to split up that back line in the Zuna and the clone. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough pressure, and the back line was staying very nicely topped off in the HP department thanks to Blinks on the Rhaegar. It's just good support play. Not much else to say, just they weren't able to execute any type of pressure in the back line, and the counter pressure was too real, way too real.
Insanely high level lead for Tempo Storm in Game 1, and just the opposite here in Game 2. Complexity defeating Tempo Storm at the end 20-17. That is something that we do not see very frequently.
I was waiting for the moment which Tempo Storm would say, okay, this is our comfort zone. Never happened.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen at all.
Even
Not
16
even.
kill Thos
There were no
didn't-
signs of it even starting to creep in.
No.
They never started to catch back up in experience, and that was a solid 3-level lead at the end of the game.
Wow. I'm just gonna let's just get to game 3 because that was exciting. We're gonna set that up as fast as we can.
Yep.
We'll be back in just a few minutes, guys. Game 3 and the upper bracket finals between Complexity and Tempo Storm.